the foreground and the figures and focuses instead on the landscape with its violet triangular mountain, which joins the expressive hands of Gabriel and the Virgin. The angel's hand is erect and urgent, and the Virgin's fingers are spread responsively as her hand rests on the corner of the lectern. Warhol used brilliant, high-keyed, and non-naturalistic colors and printed them in 4 different color combinations, all of them stunningly original. Details, Renaissance paintings. Piero della Francesca, Madonna del Duca da Montefeltro, 1984. We see a Renaissance architectural niche that numinously embraces a seashell, from the tip of which hangs suspended what seems a surrealist addition, an ostrich egg. The shell suggests a womb shape, within which the ovoid form of the large egg floats before us. Details, Renaissance paintings. Paolo Uccello, St. George and the Dragon, 1460, 1984. Warhol's translation of the Princess and the Dragon's spiky spotted wings and corkscrew tail suggests a segment of a comic strip rather than an episode from the legendary life of St. George. Is Warhol showing us that the feats of heroism and derring-do that make up the lives of the saints are now to be found in the comics? That the exploits of Superman and Dick Tracy are this century's mythology? Details, Renaissance paintings. Piero della Francesca, Saint Apollonia, 1984. In this case, it is Warhol's fidelity to the original painting that is noteworthy. The frontal iconic image of the saint is replicated with little marginal cropping. Even the cracks in the paint surface are delineated in Warhol's print. Saint Apollonia, the patron saint of dentists, who is said to have had her teeth torn out in an assault intended to make her recant, stands serenely before us, holding a pincher with one of her molars in its grip. Rorschach, 1984. Rorschach, 1984. Raphael, 1, 699, 1985. This looks back to Warhol's pop paintings, with its imaginative manipulation of the image and the jolting addition of a commercial price tag. It is this bright red and yellow price tag that leaps out at the viewer obtrusively. It hangs behind the head of Pope Sixtus, but in front of the arm of the Christ child. We do not see the drapery rod at the top or the windowsill below Raphael's misty, cloud-filled, cherub-filled setting. Instead, we experience the exuberant play of Warhol's wiry line and the presence of a second image, a pink Christ child, illogically placed horizontally below. Heaven and Hell Are Just One Breath Away, 1985-86. Warhol finally created paintings in which his secret but deeply religious nature flowed into his art. The Last Supper, 1986. Andy's last great work, the Leonardo Last Supper, was commissioned by Alexander Iolas, the art dealer, early in 1986. He used encyclopedia illustrations of Leonardo's painting that were reduced to traced, artless boundary lines. A comparison of the encyclopedia illustration with a painting from Warhol's Last Supper series reveal how closely Andy followed the illustration. He himself called it his plagiarist style. Not only are the facial features and gestures the same, but details such as the shadows are composed of parallel hatchings that are similar. A striking difference, however, is Warhol's omission of the architectural setting and tapestried hangings on the wall. The figures about the table thus appear monumental in size, and the table seems to be pressed into our space. The Last Supper detail, 1986. Warhol was wholly absorbed with the Last Supper paintings in this last year of his life, working on little else. He did the head of Christ over and over again, and also sketches of Christ's hand next to the glass of wine. The Last Supper, detail, 1986. This group of drawings is both finished works of art and studies that fed onto the 8 or more huge hand-painted canvases of the entire composition. The Last Supper, Wise Potato Chips, 1986. The scene is set before us, but our attention is riveted by the huge, brilliant blue and black logo that rotates in space between us and the table, obscuring some of its occupants. The Wise Potato Chips logo is an abstracted head of an owl compressed into a circular design. It is an advertising device with a play on the word wise, since the owl is a symbol of wisdom. Detail from The Last Supper, Wise Potato Chips, 1986. Be Somebody with a Body, with Christ of Last Supper, 1985-86. The large double painting, Be Somebody with a Body, crowns the series of this title. The image and title are taken from an advertisement for bodybuilding. The healthy young man with arms crossed cover his bare chest, who looks expectantly upward, is repeated in several forms by Warhol. The Christ, large in size and physicality, seems to reach with his left hand toward the young man, linking the Christ with the smiling young man whose head is haloed. The black contours of Christ are inscribed against a phosphorescent white background, which contrasts dramatically with the dark zone surrounding the bodybuilder. The luminosity of his body and the encompassing white radiance about his head show him transfigured and haloed. Be Somebody with a Body, with Christ of Last Supper, 1985-86. Some of these paintings have the figure of Christ of the Last Supper superimposed over the young bodybuilder.